Just stop it when you want me to start.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Hello everyone and welcome to my new video. And what is this video about? Well, for quite some time now I've been pondering the idea of inviting other people along to talk, because basically I can't be bothered anymore just doing it on my own. I've run out of ideas, and I need some ideas from other people. And what I've done this time is invited my good friend Arblick Spule.
Hello.
Say hi.
Hi.
And what are we going to do? Well, you might recognize that things look a bit different, and that's because we are filming his computer. Is that true?
We are. We are filming my computer at home. Even
We
though I'm
are
not there.
filming his computer at home, but we're at my home. What the fuck is that?
My miracles of modern technology. Miracles.
How are we doing that?
We are TeamViewer on my Surface Pro, and we just operate my PC at a remote location. Nice
Via
and
the
easy.
internet?
Via the intertubes.
Oh my goodness me.
Epic.
That is impressive, and it took about 2 hours to set up.
No, it didn't.
So,
It did 2.5 hours.
We've got some beers, we've got some mics, we've got some software, and basically, so what I'll do is I'll just start with a little bit of a backstory about our relationship. And so I remember in the 90s when I was a teenage guitarist, and all I was into was guitars. I didn't care if
Nuno Beckinkoff, whatever his name is.
Yeah, Nuno. And I remember playing a gig in the Winchester Rugby Club, and you were there playing a gig too.
Oh yes, on my
off your computer.
That was my. I do believe it was a Pentium 2.
Wow.
No,
and
Pentium 4. Sorry, Pentium 4.
Pentium 4.
Yeah.
I think this might have been maybe in sort of 98-ish,
Yep.
99.
I had a
98.
cathode ray tube screen that I had to lug around with me.
Big old screen.
50,
and I was
50 tons.
Yeah. And I was watching from the crowd, and I thought, what is this fraud doing, playing music off a computer at a rock and roll gig? And I came up to you, and obviously we'd been friends for some time by that point. Came up to you and to see what you were doing, and you were playing Doom.
I was playing Doom, yes. Well,
and I thought, what is this fraud doing?
It was during an automated bit of the set.
Yeah.
But I didn't really have anything to do.
Yeah.
Oh no! So I was playing with Monty.
It was an Uncle Monty gig.
Wasn't I playing with Monty while playing?
And I think it was Dog Spawn. Maybe it was Dog Spawn? I can't remember. It's a long time ago.
Yes.
We're talking 20 years ago. And so anyway, the whole idea of performing music with a computer to my young teenage guitarist brain was absolutely absurd.
I like to challenge people's perspectives.
Well, quite. And then some years later, towards the end of the 90s, the early noughties, when I was feeling very dejected by guitar music, and I wanted to get into doing music on computers, I came to you.
You did.
And you showed me some things. So in the early days, you were somewhat of a mentor.
Thank you.
For me.
That's very sweet of you to say.
Yeah. And so what did you show me? I remember you showed me Buzz.
Probably showed you Buzz.
Which is currently on the screen.
No, it's not Renoise's.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's there you go.
We'll get on to the details of what we're going to be using for this show later. But I remember you showed me Buzz, and I was like, no, I don't want that. I want like piano roll thing. And you showed me Reason.
Reason, yes.
And you said, look, you flip it round and the wires jiggle.
The wires jiggle.
And I was like, that's just silly gimmick. And then you showed me Fruity Loops.
Fruity Loops, yes.
And then I went away and made about 3 albums worth of stuff in Fruity Loops
yes.
for about 2-3 years.
Yes. You can always tell when someone's used Fruity Loops.
Why is that there?
There's a certain noise, there's a certain kick drum that everybody uses, and the EQ and the dynamics are very, very, very individual to that one piece of software, and you can always spot it. JTL, busted.
But they were used it quite a lot in their early days as well, until now they use Reason all the time.
Yeah, which I might add, you can also tell.
Well, I don't know, because like I thought for a little while, I haven't actually really listened to that many tracks used in either of those software apart from my own. But like, doesn't Deadmau5 use Fruity Loops, or didn't he did in the early days or something? Anyway,
I have no idea. Shall I Google it?
If you want to, yeah. Anyway, so basically we've sort of shared an enthusiasm for computer music for a long time, most of our adult lives.
Yeah.
And I thought it would be fun to invite you on so we could have a little chat, drink a few beers. So basically this is kind of what I hope will be a long run of music technology shitcasts.
Shitcasts. Nice. FL Studio, by the way.
FL Studio, as it now is known as.
Ableton.
Yeah.
You don't need to know about that.
There's more than likely going to be some very childish, juvenile humour and swearing in this, made by two pushing middle-aged men. So if you're offended by that, please turn off this video. Or it may just be audio. We don't know yet if the screen capturing doesn't work over the internet.
Oh, entirely. I know screen capturing is being done on my desktop, so everything's. I'm just operating.
You're just operating your computer. That is mental,
and it's actually still recording. So
that's pretty good. So recently, I don't know if you saw, Aphex Twin released a little video of him using Player Pro on the Mac.
I did see that. That was exciting because I didn't realise Mac would ever get a tracker. So I'm quite excited about that.
I did a little bit of research, and it wasn't news to me because I stumbled on this website called Equipment Board.
Yeah, I've just seen that. It was the first search result.
Oh yeah, so Equipment Board. If you're quite into nerding out about what other people use, especially if they're celebrities, then equipmentboard.com or whatever is a good place. So I stumbled on this, and it's actually quite detailed when it comes to Aphex Twin, and it talked about the tracker that he used for the Drugs album, and I was like, I had a feeling it would have been done on a tracker, because the thing about trackers, from what I understand, which was similar to a workflow that I used to do quite a lot in Fruity Loops, is this kind of stream of consciousness kind of approach to composition, where it's like there's so much freedom and ease for not repeating yourself and just introducing things as you go along really easily, creating patterns, copying patterns to new patterns, editing the previous pattern, doing that over and over and over again, which was a thing I used to do quite a lot in Fruity Loops. Gather together a little palette of sounds, import them in, create patterns, get bored of it, move on to the next pattern, and then basically play patterns 1 to whatever, and that was the song.
Absolutely. It's the way, the tracker way.
It's the tracker way.
Yeah.
So I thought, I watched that video and I thought, why don't we like have a little chat about trackers and look at some tracker software and remember some, or look at ones that are current. So
I remember the very first tracker I ever used.
And I'm going to guess it was Fast Tracker.
No.
Oh. What was it?
Tetramed.
Yep. Is that... So, hang on. Tetra. How many is that? 5? No. Because Octamed was on the Amiga, right? Octamed? I'm guessing Octamed was a later incarnation of Tetramed, because Tetra is like, how many numbers is that?
Well, Tetramed was on my IBM 286, so it was probably 4 tracks.
286?
286.
We're talking like
22k samples.
Oh my god, we're talking like 93?
Yep.
286? We had a 286 in 93, I think. I don't think we got a Pentium until like 95. Windows 95, I think.
we were quite abreast in the computing world as a family. My uncle worked in IT, so we were the first kid. I was the first kid in school to have a home PC, an actual IBM desktop. That was 286 with 20 megabytes hard disk,
20
640k base memory, and 520 something extended, and you could do nothing on it. You could play Wolfenstein. That was enough, to be honest.
Oh, Wolfenstein. Yeah, so this is probably what we're going to be doing quite a lot, is just naming things from when we were half our age. But I think our 286, I couldn't play Wolfenstein unless the screen was about a tenth of the size on the screen to get it run at the speed that made it playable.
Yeah.
And then I basically...
There was even shortcuts, Control minus and plus or something like that. You used to do it in real time.
Was there?
Yeah.
I can't remember. I think I had to go into the settings.
Yeah, you didn't have to. Shortcuts.
Oh, I don't know that bit. But
ID Software, abreast of all modern tech.
ID Software. Yeah, what else did they do? Duke Nukem. Did they do Duke Nukem?
3D Realms, that was...
Oh, 3D Realms, you're right, yeah. So they did...
Well, they did the Duke Nukem 3D. I don't know who did it.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe ID did do the original one.
They did Catacomb of the Abyss.
Yes, that was a good game.
And I remember I got into real trouble with that because I acquired a copy of Catacomb of the Abyss and it wouldn't run on the computer. So I can't remember if a friend of mine told me to do it or if I looked in PC Gamer. But for some reason I acquired the knowledge that if I went and deleted the config file from MS-DOS, that it would help the game run better.
Mm-hmm.
So I went and did that with my basic DOS knowledge, and the computer...
//
Yeah,
yes.
And then the computer wouldn't boot.
You deleted the wrong config sys, didn't you?
Yeah.
You deleted the main config sys.
I think I deleted the system config file, yeah.
Well done.
And the computer wouldn't boot, and my dad was furious with me. And I didn't understand why, because I didn't really know computers or whatever.
It's actually a really easy fix now. But, yeah, no, that would do it. You needed to create a DOS 6.2 boot disk.
Oh, really?
With an intact config sys, and you flip that over and edit it to what it was. Or you run undelete. I remember typing del *** in the root directory.
Alright.
Whoopsie!
I don't know what that means.
Delete everything.
Oh my god.
Absolutely everything.
Oh dear.
The whole operating system. Yeah.
What, DOS?
Well, all the important files, the ones in the main root folder, //
Oh dear. No Prince of Persia for you.
No, indeed. No, not for 4 hours as I tried to figure out how to sort it. But undelete worked. Because in the old days, it just used to delete the first letter of every file.
So where would it, like, keep the deleted... So it must have had some sort of trash box for you to undelete it?
It stays exactly where it is. All the bits stay on the hard disk. They just change the name. So it deletes the first character of the name. That then renders it invisible to your file system.
Right.
So then you can overwrite it with other data. But if you haven't overwritten it, undelete and you just put in the first letters again. Little tip, if you're still running DOS 6.22 and you actually delete your root directory.
On your 286.
On your IBM 286.
Your beige computer. Oh. Okay, well, so let's move away from that vaporwave shit.
Okay.
And let's talk about Buzz.
Buzz, okay.
So I was having a conversation with a guy some time ago, and he was quite surprised to learn that I knew what he was talking about when he was talking about Buzz, which was one of his first programs. I was like, so what did you start using? He's like, oh, I used Buzz. And he kind of said Buzz like, maybe I might not know what that was. And I was like, yeah, I remember Buzz. I didn't really get on with it. But you, however, were quite good in it.
I think my entire life's creation was, if not fully made in Buzz, at least Buzz contributed to it.
Yeah.
So all synth lines, all drums, done in Buzz. Whether that was sensible, I don't know.
And so Buzz is basically a tracker with a kind of modular based sound design second window.
Yeah.
Where you would do all your synthesis and kind of maybe sending signals from one thing to another?
Yeah, it's not synthesis technically. I might show you something later that's quite exciting.
Okay.
But you don't do synthesis in it, particularly modular. You do... I don't know why I'm pointing at my screen.
That's fine.
Yeah, cool. I'm just going to carry on. Yeah, it's you have...
Is it out right now?
Yeah, it is up. So you've got
Okay.
your machines, they synthesize, and then you just plug the machines together. So creating effects chains and whatnots.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's yeah. But you can do modular in it now because someone, I think his name's Block, made a modular, so you can actually do proper modular synthesis, which is nice. But yeah, a little bit late to the party.
What, that functionality being added, or right?
Yeah, it's about 5 years ago or something like that.
So I remember like you trying to get me into Buzz, and I wasn't really feeling it. And then some years later, I looked at Reactor, and I thought, oh, it's like Buzz. It's a similar sort of interface and kind of connection of little boxes.
That's all it is. It's just graphical representation of something you're doing anyway in your VST stuff, which is just routing. So it's just a nice, pretty way of routing. Right.
I'm just going to tell my computer to not go to sleep.
Don't go to sleep.
Don't go to sleep.
Don't go to sleep. Is this just like a sort of level of our conversation that even your computer has gone to sleep?
My computer is bored to death of this already.
Yeah.
Hopefully, listeners, viewers, you are well. Hopefully, if we can get that screen cap.
If you're still awake, wake up.
If you're still awake by now. Also, I'm a little out of my comfort zone this time because I've had to set up 2 microphones, 2 computers, 2 sets of headphones in my living room rather than in my man rave cave. So the production quality may be slightly different to what you're used to, hardcore subscribers. All right, so why don't you make something in Buzz and take us through it? Maybe.
Hey, Gather! Instant gather.
So yeah, trackers are really good for this kind of stuff because of the step editing.
Yeah.
So it's just really easy to say, right, I want you to... This is one thing I quite liked about Renoise, was that it was very easy to just pull in a loop and then set it every 8th note, just hold the key down and it would go...
Yeah.
And then I'd go in with the sample offset and find out where my snares and kicks were and just literally just tap in the numbers, and then I'd create this really nice sequence. As Buzz... I'm guessing Buzz works the same way because it's a tracker interface.
Absolutely, it's a spreadsheet on wings.
Yeah, why did you keep saying spreadsheet? You were saying that in WhatsApp. What do you mean by spreadsheet? Like columns and rows?
Columns and rows,
yeah.
Essentially. Columns being your parameters and effects, as you can see here. There's bits of dots which are blank information. So we type in our notes in yay column. Then you've got your sample number, volume, effect, etc, etc. Vertically, it's just time in ticks. So I've just, because we were looking at sort of breakcore and glitchy tunage.
Yeah, sample mangling, micro editing.
Yeah. We've done something a bit unusual to Buzz, which we've changed the ticks per beat to 8. So instead of there being 4 ticks in a beat, there's now 8 ticks in a beat. Gives you just a little bit more control.
Yeah, so you can go very, very, very microscopic.
So you can go mental.
In fact, when we pulled up that Renoise demo song, we noticed that was
16.
It was 256 rows in a sequence.
Yeah. So normally, I mean, I've got
the tick speed was 16. So there was 16 rows per
beat.
Quaver. Crotchet. Per quarter note. 8th note. Per beat.
I was going to say, quavers are Christmas, Duncan.
No, they're not. I mean, they are.
Yes, they are.
So, yeah, sorry, carry on.
Quavers.
Quite fancy some quaver. I think we've got some in the cupboard.
I've got McCoys.
McCoys?
Yeah.
I had some McCoys for lunch. I don't want to overdo it on McCoys.
Ah, fair enough. I've eaten like half a bag.
Oh.
Well, like it was in half a 6-pack.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
That's a lot of McCoys, mate.
Fatty bum patty.
Okay, carry on. So... Sorry, I won't put that pressure on you again for the rest of the show.
Sidetracked by McCoys.
So, what you've done is I just watched you create a little sequence there.
Yes, I've deleted it now.
So where's the sound going to come from? You're going to have to pull a sampler in, or in Renoise, there's kind of like a sample pool. I don't want to keep comparing Renoise. It's just it's the one I'm the most familiar with.
We will flip to it eventually because
there's a little sample pool in Renoise where you can just kind of do multi-timbral stuff by just referencing a different sample, which I'm pretty sure you can do on all the Electron gear. Do you know Electron?
Maybe.
They're like these hardware boxes. They do a really good sampler, and you can kind of have a different sample per step. You can have like each track can have up to something like 128 samples or something.
Well, each in these it's an instrument, so you've got many instruments, and each one you can have many samples to go assigned to note ranges. So you just like when you're doing a piano in a sampler, you wouldn't just have one piano noise across the whole range of the keyboard. You'd sample every 4 sort of notes.
Oh yeah, of course, and then
you'd
lay them out over like every third note or something,
just to make it so you've got a more suitable sample, so your piano doesn't end up sounding like shit in the extreme ranges of pitch.
Well, if you sample like middle C and then play 2 octaves up, it's going to be half the speed,
or half the
length.
Sounds
rather,
awful. It doesn't have the same characteristics. All the frequencies have shifted, so it just sounds like it's terrible. But you can do that in most software. Even like some of we've had this since Fast Tracker. I think actually since Impulse Tracker, possibly even before that. You could have multi instruments. So, in fact, that's what they were called, I think. So I'm just going to load up an Amen break because it doesn't like AIFs, mate.
What? I sent you some AIFs.
You sent me oh no, it's gone. There we go.
Oh, this is a one that I chopped up and EQ'd and compressed. So
I know it sounds good.
Should be a little bit more beefy than the original.
Good. In fact, I can pull up a demonstration of the difference between all the different incarnations of, because there are probably about 50 to 100,000 different versions of the Amen breaks that are available online.
People who have just sampled them from other people who have sampled them, rather than sampling the record,
and then done a little bit more processing.
It's kind of what makes the whole thing kind of like a colourful world for me, like sort of internet sample theft. It's that like
sample theft. Yes.
Well, like it's sort of like it's different from like hip hop, where there's kind of a purism in a good sense of like sort of finding the record somewhere and putting it on the turntable, putting it into the Akai or into the computer or whatever, and it being a little bit more like yours. Whereas like with breakcore and stuff, it's like a meme culture, isn't it? It's like
it is. You have to have the Amen break in there somewhere, even if it's just like for 2 seconds in the middle of it. It's always got to go in there. Yeah,
it's kind of like a little wink, isn't it?
Yeah.
And like sometimes I wonder like who it really kind. So basically, I like to talk about Amen breaks. I think it's very interesting. It's to a lot of people. Well, generally it's very widely known that the chap who played that wasn't in any way remunerated for the amount of times that it was used. And so
he would own all of the money in the world.
He would probably own a lot of money, because we're talking way into the hundreds of thousands of records that's been used on. And so, and also the company, I think, I'm sure I read an article once about who actually owns the rights to Amen Brother by the Winstons, and I don't even think the record company that released the record owns the rights anymore. So I've always kind of wondered, who does it actually belong to? Does it belong to the people? Or does it belong to...
It's a very communist thing to say, don't you?
I've just sort of always like wondered like who actually really owns so many of the things that get reused over and over and over again.
Well, there are a few breaks that just are all...
Does the guy who kind of thought, I'm going to take that little clip of John Travolta from Pulp Fiction and turn it into something that 2016 is going to love, or does he like own that concept? or is it now?
Or does Tarantino own it? Or
yeah, I mean,
does the studio own it?
It's a tiny little fraction of time taken out of context and just completely obliterated with meaning and substance, good and bad.
Yeah.
And I've always just found that fascinating. And I used to kind of really enjoy that about breakcore, but these days I'm a little bit more interested with that, with like internet humor, you know, because it's sort of the same thing. But
memes of Patrick Stewart,
because breakcore is sampling breaks like that is quite memey. One person did it, someone else did it, everyone started doing it, and I kind of think it's like the sound meme. It
does help me. It's a pretty awesome drum beat.
That might be obvious to everyone who's listening, I don't know, but it just comes to mind. These things come to mind.
I'm sure you'll find out in the comment section later on.
Yeah, please leave comments saying your show sucks.
Bollocks, it's rubbish. But yeah, just to demonstrate the difference, Buzz comes with its own aim and break.
Oh,
built in, perfectly timed and loopable, etc. So, oh Jesus, I forgot.
Your tick speed's too fast.
No, I forgot to change the thing on there. I set it to 1 instead of 10.
Oh.
Numbers are in hexadecimal on Buzz. In fact, in most tracks, it's worth mentioning.
Yeah, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, A, B, C, D, E, F.
Something like that, yeah.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. I don't know.
Whoa. Yeah. For some reason, my aim and break's gone mental.
That's fine, hold it together.
There we go. So yeah, you can hear the difference between that one, which is like more of a raw, totally different audio.
Yeah, I did a boost and a cut on the low frequencies to give it that kind of what I would consider quite boxy sort of sound, and then boosted a bit of the highs and compressed it. Compressed it like an idiot.
Yeah. Very nice it is, though.
Okay, so now I want you to go and chop that up and make breakcore whilst I sit here and drink.
Oh. Well, okay, first of all, I'm not going to use that machine because that's the wrong one. Hence the reason nothing's happening.
Oh yeah, buzz machines. That was kind of a sort of a community as well, wasn't it?
Buzz machines.
People made machines for it?
Yep, it's all, well, not open source, but it's you are encouraged to develop your own machines for it. So there's hundreds available. I can't even show you all of them.
Oh, how are they developed? What platform are they developed in?
C++.
Yeah, right.
So they recommend Visual Studio or Visual C++. 14 or something.
What? Visual Basic?
Visual C++. Yeah, but here you can see a list. This is just effects. Here there are.
I'm leaning over to look to his computer to look.
There are literally like hundreds here. It's crazy. And then all generators which generate the noise. So we've got a Matilda tracker here. It's the closest you can get to sort of the old school buzz trackers. And all
so the tracker is a machine in itself.
The tracker is a machine itself. The tracker, the sort of program interface, the way you do all your programming is standard throughout each unit. But this is designed to be basically the bit of the tracker that generates the noise. So I could just go ahead, use the same pattern, but replace that with piano or something else.
So what is it? So when you're connecting it to, what's it spitting out there? Just audio, or is it spitting out
just audio? Yeah.
Oh right.
And I'm going straight into our master channel here, and that's it. It's as simple as that, and you can start making noise.
And other key commands like the same across a lot of trackers, like S for sample offset.
No.
R for retrigger.
No, these are all numbers.
Oh right.
But so rather helpfully, it does tell you once you've put in the effect, you can go back to that little line and it will tell you down in the corner what the hell it's doing.
Oh right, that's quite cool.
Most of them are pretty standard. I mean, I think sample offset's exactly the same. So I'm just going to put one
in hex. So because when I did some stuff in Renoise, I was doing all the beats to 1 bar.
Yeah. So
that 4 was always the snare. I always knew that if I typed in 4, I'd get a snare and I'd be okay.
Yeah, it's worth mentioning just to sort of get used to hex, because it's frankly way better. Much more complicated, but much more powerful.
Way better than what?
Decimal.
But then it would be like 1 to... Oh, I see, because you can only use one digit.
You only need
Whereas
one
if you
digit
did-
for 16
Yeah,
numbers.
yeah.
So
So it's 0,
Zero to
1,
F.
2... Yeah, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, A, B, C, D, E, F.
Yeah, which correspond to the bits on a computer as it's counting. It's got 8 bits. Turn each bit on and off to generate numbers. It correlates. Anyway, yes. For more info on
about
binary,
that?
see Wikipedia.
Okay, so do something more interesting.
So
to
yeah,
that
well
pattern then.
you can see I've literally put a repeating loop here. It's one sample, and we're going to use effect in this case is going to be number 9. And the first thing you'll notice is that the audio stops because we haven't told it what to do. So this is sample offset, and it will play the sample from wherever I want it to. Viz. So that's just the bass drum.
You've got a little bit of envelope decay on there, though, haven't you?
There's some dodgy ticking going on.
Okay, ignore it. Carry on.
Yeah. So obviously we're using a percentage between 0 and 256.
What?
Something like that.
For what?
For the offset, sample offset, it's basically in percent, which makes things nice and easy when you're doing this little cutty up stuff, because you can just type in.
Hang on, that's gonna depend on the. Are you talking about samples in actual samples? Because that's going to depend on the bit rate in which it was, the sample rate.
Yeah,
in which
no,
the file was.
it's in percentage. So play this thing from this percent through the entire sample.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, going back to what I was saying earlier about, I knew that when I was doing it in Renoise that 4 would be 25%, and 25% of a 1 bar loop is where the snare drum is.
Exactly.
50% would be like the second kick.
Yeah.
75% would be the third second snare, which I think would be number 9. I seem to remember doing 4 and 9 loads.
Yeah.
In the brief time I spent doing trackers.
I think it depends on how you set up your sample thing. We haven't done too much prep in this, as you can see by the fact that it's making some very strange noises. But it's
I'm not really vibing on that.
No, I'm just going to
I need something a little bit more jungle.
Oh, there you go. So now we're going to play. The problem is that the sample's not actually the right speed for. What is the BPM again?
The original?
Yeah, or whatever you use.
This one is 175.
Oh, wait, it's once. No, and that one's.
But the original is roughly about 139.
Well,
So I read in a book.
Okay. So anyway, yeah. I'm doing this more or less at random to just show what's going on.
Yeah, but I'm not really vibing to it, mate. It's
Really vibing, eh?
I want something a little bit more like that I can jump up to.
Let's see if I can appease you then.
This is quality content.
Oh yeah, it's good. Watching someone just.
I'm going to vape really loudly.
Is there any other way?
When you've done aim and break stuff yourself, did you pretty much do it only in Buzz, or did you do it in any other?
Mostly in Buzz. I did experiment in Cakewalk using sound fonts.
Oh my god!
Because you could break your aim and break up in Recycle and save to a sound font, load it into. I had the Yamaha Creative or Digi sound card, which used to use sound fonts.
I don't think that technology's around anymore, is it? Sound fonts? I don't even think really even Rex files get used up. Well, actually, no, they probably do if you're a reason user. But
Yeah, very likely.
yeah. I think in Reason now you can just pull in audio anyway and put it wherever you want, and
Very, very
it
likely.
syncs it up anyway.
Very, very likely. Well, so that was awful. I'm gonna. If only we could just press pause, so I could just.
We can hit pause if you want.
Figure out where all the beats are, but I don't suppose it matters since we're just going to mangle it. So I'm going to go ahead and put notes on every single tick and the offset on every single tick. We'll do some funky time stretching.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, then you can start sort of mucking about with everything else.
To be quite honest, I kind of enjoy the aim and break so much that even when it sounds shit, I still enjoy it. To me, it's kind of like it's like someone playing a really bad blues guitar solo. You know what I mean? They're kind of the same thing. It's kind of like I've always kind of thought that the aim and break is kind of like the pentatonic scale of like sampling. Like once you've got it, it's not that hard to do stuff that's quite good with it. Do you know what I mean? It's a little bit. Maybe you don't really play guitar, so you might not know what I mean. Guitar players out there might understand what I'm saying. It's a very sort of basic scale that once you know how to do it, it's very easy to do. You can actually improvise.
You can play Stairway to Heaven.
Well, no, but nearly.
Really? Okay.
Very nearly. You could do like a Layla by Eric Clapton. Do you know Layla by Eric Clapton? It goes ba-la-la-la.
Blah, 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 blah.
So let's do an aim break remix of Layla by no, let's not do that.
That's a terrible idea.
I'll lose subscribers.
You will, yes. I think I've seen the numbers already drop, and you haven't even put it on the internet yet.
This is taking you a lot longer than I would have expected.
It's taking me a lot longer than I would have expected.
The workflow that I would have done in Renoise would be pull it into Renoise, set it to sync, and then choose my ticks, and then input one note every 8 ticks, depending on how many ticks I was using, and then I would go in and do the sample offset.
Are you suggesting that I use White Noise's looper instead of Matilda Tracker?
Instead of suggesting using what? Sorry.
Are you suggesting I use White Noise's looper 2? In fact,
this is a buzz machine.
Yeah.
Do it. Yeah. Oh,
good.
That was yummy.
We have generated white noise.
That was
Yummy.
that was nice.
Well, that wasn't supposed
Remind me to show you my noise module in my Eurorack later.
I will.
It is sexual.
When you show me your nice rack.
It's funny because it also means breasts.
Yes.
Right. Anyway, enough of that.
Oh well, that doesn't work. So,
why doesn't that work? That's fine. It doesn't matter if it doesn't work. We'll just keep going.
BuzzDubs does these little things. It does like to.
Which version of Buzz is it?
God knows.
Is it like a current one or a really old one, or do they still even
1503, January 16th, 2016.
Oh, so still quite So it's still like active.
Yeah,
and getting supported.
Buzz stopped.
And still free.
Yeah. Moscari's still doing it for free. Basically, what happened was he lost a hard drive to mechanical failure, lost all the code for it, stopped making it. Some other people jumped in and started fiddling about with bits that they could. And then he managed to resurrect his hard disk, get a load of stuff back, and he's started developing it again.
Oh, right.
Which is nice.
And so I'm guessing that there are a lot of community developers working on it.
There's big guys are Zaphod, who you might recognise from the Hitchhiker's Guide, but is also one of the key community developers. White Noise, whose looper just didn't work, which was annoying. And then there's a few others that are pretty notable. Particularly recently, this guy called, I don't know what his name is. The machines are called HD, so I think it's Hal Hal Dreamer, maybe something like that. Anyway, he's pretty cool. He makes trance stuff, instant trance machines.
Yeah, apart from breakcore, micro-edited absurdity, trackers are very popular for making techno, offbeat, metronomic techno.
Yep.
Because the clock is really stable. The clocking is very stable, and also it's just really easy to put in a bar of kick drums, like in like less than a second.
Yep.
For as long as it takes to hold the key down.
Pretty much. Yeah. Set your jump to 4. Press C. Press Z for C4, and you're done.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it?
Pretty much. Well, I suppose we could demonstrate that with the monster.
I gave you some kick drum sounds.
Ooh.
Do you want to?
I think they're
use one of those kick drum sounds.
There you go. Instant techno. It might be a bit fast, actually. There you go. Gabber again.
Oh, excuse me.
Oh, we're
still too fast.
Yeah. So there you go. You want to stick a nice little.
I'm fucking raving my tits off.
Mate, yeah, mate. Bosh me some pills, mush. Boss me some pills.
I've got your war, mate. I'm fucking coming up on my 5th pill.
Play some drum bass, mate. Play some drum bass.
Mate, can I MC on your? Can I MC in your set, mate? I've come all the way from Andover. A lot of people won't get that joke because they don't know where we live.
Google Andover, I'm sure.
It's near where we live, and it's a bit common.
It's coming up in the world.
I'm sorry.
It's coming up in the world.
I remember my dad got his tyres slashed in Andover once.
Yeah, that's probably yeah. Never park your car in Andover.
Okay, this is cool.
Well, yeah, we're just gonna.
I'm vibing. Vibes, man.
We're just gonna sit here and listen to 4/4 and stuff. Sod breakcore is too hard. Why is that not working either? Why does nothing work?
I might have to have a piss. I might have to leave you with this whilst. Do you reckon you can handle?
But if I just stay silent,
hold the reins whilst I go for a piss?
If I just say mostly silent, then I'll just make some.
You could just make a track,
and then like later on, I can just speed up. But there you go. There's some house for it.
Okay, well, why don't you like maybe chuck in a bass line or something?
I just did.
What?
You can't hear it because it's there.
Oh, there it is. Yeah. Well, maybe like I could go for a piss, and then I could come back, and then maybe you might have like almost an opening section of a track or something. I'm going to impose a little challenge on you.
Sorry, I'm getting well into that groove, man. Yeah, I'm going to give Matilda Tracker another go while you're in the.
I'm going for a piss, listeners, viewers, and I'll leave you in the competent hands of my good friend.
Incompetent hands.
Oh. Don't slag me off whilst I'm gone. I'll hit you through the door.
Wanker. Yes, well, I'm not going to say anything throughout this entire section. I don't think it's wise. I'm scared.
You know what? Like, oh, hang on. You know, sometimes like when you go for a piss and it's just jetting out like a fucking horse, and then it just stops dead. Just stops dead.
Prostate problems?
I fucking hope not. Sometimes
I can find out for you. No.
Maybe when we finish recording.
Fair enough.
So what have you done whilst I was gone?
I've loaded the aim brake again, and now I've started funking it up a little bit.
So, can I possibly ask you a kind of workflow related question?
You can.
Coming from Ableton Live background, where you can kind of leave it running whilst you're working on stuff.
Yeah.
It's what it's very good at. You can just kind of have your song running in the background whilst you're still working on bits. Whereas with tracking, it's a lot of stopping and starting.
Nope.
Did you? No?
Nope. I will run that. We'll just add something over the top. Try a 303, surely. Everybody loves a 303. Yeah. Now you can just sort of... It's going to be the worst 303 line ever, and I do apologise. I am literally just going to...
But if you were doing quite complicated, complicated sequencing, editing, where you're working on a per step basis, are you not going to run into a lot of start-stopping, or...?
I suppose it depends on you, really, isn't it? Because,
I suppose it depends on what you're trying to do and what...
Yeah, if you're happy to sit there and listen to the loop for the entire time, then you're going to have no problems.
Which the viewer-listener may be doing right now.
Right now, yeah. I think they're probably trying to turn off YouTube right now, going, this is blank.
Why did I tune into these chances?
Yeah. I mean,
that's a pretty good 303. So what's that, a synth? Is that a 303 synth?
Yeah, literally dedicated 303 synthesizer by Climax.
That's quite good.
No, sorry, it's Umek.
That's quite good, actually.
But yeah, you can sort of, keep that going. I'll just mute the DM. Oops. Yeah, you can just sort of keep that going. Go back and work on your aim brake. No beef. But yeah, I don't know.
But what about some variety now? Because we're making breakcore, so we need to change the pattern like every pattern. Otherwise, we're not breakcore. How are you going to cope with that if I impose that on you? You can't use visual jokes.
Okay.
They can't see us.
Fair enough. Well, it's literally as simple as doing that, and you end up with another pattern edited the same length. 16. No, it was 8. And then we can just copy and paste, edit to your heart's content. Copy and paste. Oh god.
How's that Mac keyboard working out?
Shit. Hate Macs.
I hear they speak very highly of you.
Macs. They're awful. Why do you not have an insert button?
Yeah, I tell you what. Again, when in my brief period of using Renoise, I think I might have actually even posted on the forum, I'm on a Mac and I don't have an insert button.
Yeah.
So I can't do what I want to do.
Yeah, you do.
And I think someone came back and said, just create your own keyboard shortcut.
Oh, good. So you actually have to go out and learn how to do that before you just use the insert button.
So what would insert do? Just basically insert the pattern?
Shifts a line down. So if I misplaced the snare drum here, now the whole keyboard's not working.
Oh no, what's happened? We're having technical problems. This is the first time we've ever tried to do this for you, our dedicated viewers.
I do not understand.
Okay, well, I'll just fill with a load of waffle.
Keep waffling while I try and work out what the hell's going on. That works.
If you were going to, because from what I understand when we were talking before we started recording, that you've not actually made that much music in recent years, and instead been focusing more on like the 3D modeling, I think maybe. Or,
yeah.
So if you were
mixed with heavy drinking and
yeah. So if you were gonna like come back, would you come back using Buzz, or would you
again Buzz
think about something else? Or
Buzz is lovely. I love it, except when the keyboard stops working. But you do fall into a trap with Buzz, and it's another bit of software that you can always tell when a tune's been made on Buzz, because of the way it sounds, and also with the patterns. Everyone tends to go for very blocky patterns and pattern sequences,
right?
So you can always tell because it will be very formulaic throughout the track. You always say, they've done it in Buzz, because most people don't bother putting any variation in.
But if you're like a Buzz user, would that be kind of a nice familiar thing to, like, I mean, again, to kind of use like a guitarist analogy, like I can tell when someone's used a Fender Strat, or I can tell when someone's maybe used a Gibson or something because of the sound. So like having that kind of being able to identify with that as a listener, I mean, it's very niche because not everyone who goes out raving to techno is there going, oh, this was made in Buzz, brilliant. But like if you're a user,
I do.
If you use a lot of music tech software or whatever, and you hear, it's like the 303, like people hear the 303, they know what it is, and like, is that necessarily a bad thing if you can hear that it's been made in that? Or I don't know, what do you think?
I suppose it's really down to personal preference. I quite enjoy the formulaic thing, but the fact that we all do it, and we do it by accident rather than any intention, it's not an intentional sort of thing, for me is sort of, I don't know, I'd prefer it if I couldn't tell what something was made in.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
For me, if you think, they're made in Buzz, he's using this, he's using this, he's using this, you end up analysing the track and you stop listening to it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I mean, I mean, I can see what you mean. I think a lot of the electronic music that I've enjoyed was because I had no idea where it was coming from, and in some ways the illusion was shattered when I found out
how easy
what
not
it
how
was,
easy it is, but
just the approach or whatever, and like I can definitely appreciate that. And I guess it's, I don't know, I guess have you ever heard of Ben Frost? Do you know?
Yay!
Do you know Ben Frost at all?
Oh, this is where you need insert.
I'm asking you a question, dude.
This is where you need insert.
There isn't an insert key on the Mac keyboard.
No. Oh, and that means you have to rewrite the entire pattern if you accidentally delete a line rather than just overwrite it, which I've just done. So we'll just put it all again.
Anyway, so
sorry.
Have you ever heard of Ben Frost? He makes pretty good electronic music, and when I first heard it, I was quite blown away by it, and to the point where I was just like, I have no idea how on earth this guy did this, and he uses Ableton.
Yeah. I mean, Ableton.
And I was like, bloody hell. I mean, I know that it's got a good bit of software, but like this stuff sounds like from another planet. Like,
yeah, it is. Again, it's one of those ones you can sort of, because a lot of people will, through either laziness or what have you, will just think, I'll just use a stock instrument and put that in. And like halfway through a song you're listening to, you'll go, hold on, that's this instrument.
That's that preset. Yeah, I suppose, like, I guess if you're just an enthusiast and you're kind of just doing it for a laugh, just to satisfy your curiosity and your occupation in your spare time, then none of that stuff really matters.
Yeah,
I guess if you're
nothing wrong with it.
If you're sort of like a legitimate, serious artist.
Oh, we all.
But then actually, no, I don't know really. I mean, like, like, I guess like when I first started listening to Venetian snares, I knew that it was all tracker stuff, but I didn't know which one it was.
Yeah.
And then when I found out which ones that they were, and I went and had a look at them, I was kind of like, oh, and it definitely changed the way that I listened to the detail a little bit more.
Yeah.
I kind of thought, because to start with, I thought a lot of the stuff was all, before I knew that it was trackers, I thought it was all kind of generated. I thought he was actually using more kind of like generative or random techniques. But then when I found out a little bit more and understood the sort of the detail and the micro editing that can go into that stuff, it really made me listen to it a little bit more, like a lot more closely, because I wanted to hear where those edits were, and like when I started to understand the approach and the workflow and the commands and the editing and all that stuff. I'm fucking waffling, mate.
Carry on, because
Team
Viewer's just disconnected. So
my beer is starting to kick in.
Keep waffling. We're going to have to waffle now for the rest of the thing because Team Viewer's died.
Oh, what does that mean?
Which means I can't connect my remote computer.
Okay, that's fine.
Which sort of
just drink.
Reason unknown. I'm not sure whether my computer's just turned itself off.
Maybe they've had a power cut up at
it's more than likely
Lane.
Thermal, because I'm not in my room. The window's not open, so the thermal cutout on my CPU might have blown.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Which is pretty damn terminal, to be honest.
Oh dear.
Not permanently. I'll go home and turn it back on again. But
so you can't reboot your computer from here?
Not if it's done that. If it's frozen, yeah, no problem. But if it's actually a hardware button I have to press.
A hard reset?
Yeah, basically. It's a hardware button.
Well. I'll make some tin can noises into the mic whilst I think of something for us to talk about.
We can beatbox. No, that's a silly idea. That's awful. I
kind of have a love-hate thing with beatboxing. I kind of think when a guy gets on the beatbox, like I kind of think you better be good, because I'm just going to think you're a dick. Oh, yeah. Here's another white person beatboxing. Great.
Yep, and also just making...
And only doing it for 4 bars because they've run out of breath.
Yeah, and then, you know...
There are some good ones, though. There are some.
The ones, I guess, that have developed the circular breathing techniques, isn't it?
Oh, well, I guess you could just come in on an open hi-hat. Oh, no, I'm going to faint. Oh,
yeah, that's hyperventilating. Oh, hello. Hey.
I'm going to get another beer. Do you want one?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
I'm going to finish this one. Team Viewer has just loaded itself up. So what's going to happen on the video is that there's just going to be a gap where I don't do anything for a very long time. So you were talking about variation. We have now variated by creating 2 patterns. So we now have a 16-bar loop, 16-beat loop. With some variation. It's still a bit shit, but this, you know, in the old days I could spend hours, even days, on one single loop.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Through the power of marijuana. Normally is what the case was. But you just keep cycling this process of trying stuff out. You know, it's a little more finicky than using something like a recycled, loop, because you know where all the beats are and everything. You know that offhand. It's all split for you. You can just go straight in and put them where you want. Whereas with this, it's a little bit more experimental. However, you can just chop up an Amon break and put it in a, key mapped environment. So you can just have C as the bass drum, C sharp as the hi-hat or whatever.
Yeah,
so that's no big making.
For a long time, back when I was a pretty much die-hard Reason user, and I got really into Recycle, and I got into internet digging, trying to find every single drum break I could find, and I was slicing them on every single transient, and I actually realised years later that was a huge waste of time for making breakcore and jungle or whatever, is because it actually gives you more to worry about in terms of the note entry.
Oh yeah.
Whereas like later I realised that what I should have been doing was slicing these either at the points where I wanted a note to happen, so the kick, the snare, the offbeat ghost note, the second snare, or just slicing them into eighth notes, so that I could lock to an eighth note grid whilst doing the sequencing. And I still kind of do that now, but
it's sort of good practice.
I actually think slicing is a bad idea.
Yeah, I mean,
for making this kind of music.
To every transient, because each slice is going to be a different length. If you are in a situation where that's important, there are some bits of samplers that will automatically, stretch that loop or that one sample, so it actually sounds out of place, and you get a pick, time stretching artifacts. So it's not necessarily very helpful, and then you might get unexpected gaps of silence, etc., etc. So yeah,
I never really. A couple of times when I've had conversations with people on the internet about this, I've always said, like if you're going to slice into regions, don't slice on transients. And Ableton now can do that really, really, really nicely. So you can slice in eighth notes, quarter notes, 16th notes or whatever, and it'll kind of, either maintain the pitch or re-pitch it based on the tempo or whatever. But these are it's weird because so much stuff I made in the past. In fact, when I actually started, when I was in Fruity Loops, that was how I used to do it. I used to slice into eighths. And I used to stick to an eighth note sort of sequencing kind of discipline if I wanted to do the breaks, because it just made it really easy to get the syncopation where you wanted it. And, so actually, in many ways, I hate Recycle because it made me waste some years fanning about with single transients. Sequencing 16th notes against my 8th notes. Fuck that shit. I'm just going to turn the light on. There we go. Hopefully no one from Eastleigh will walk past the window and see all this expensive equipment.
There they go. All right.
Come in and rob it.
We shall rob him.
Not that Eastleigh's like that. It's actually quite a nice place.
It's a lovely place. I wouldn't want to live there, but it's lovely.
Oh, I live there now.
Oh.
Hey, that was cool. Hey,
so there you go.
We're cooking now.
We're cooking. We're finally cooking. I put a new variation in.
That's quality, yeah. So can you do a thing for me which I quite like, where I'd like you to copy, or I would like a polyphony of one and one sample slightly later than the first one to create that kind of flanged, static flange sound.
Time stretch, yeah, we can do that.
No, not a time stretch. No, that's no. So when you have like two samples and you play them at the same time, but you play one slightly later, like a millisecond, you get that flat static flange sound.
I could just.
So how would you do that?
I could just put machine in.
Yeah, but I want you to do it in the balls deep sequencing. I don't want any effects. No effects.
The hard way.
Yeah, I want you to sequence it. We're going back to the old school, yo.
Back to the old school.
I don't talk like that in real life. I just want you to know that.
I'm just going to kill those volumes a little bit because we're going to play two notes on two channels, and we're just going to put offset of 1.
If you're still watching this, by the way, you're a real trooper.
Yeah, well
Thanks.
done. Well done, you.
How long have we been going anyway? I've got no idea.
Hour and 20.
How do I tell? Pro Tools to show me in time code, minutes, seconds.
Yeah, how many time codes have we been doing?
That's pretty good. We've been going 67 minutes. On my computer. That's the one. That's it. Yeah. And now copy the pattern to a new pattern, and then change the delay. Yeah, but go closer. Go closer.
Unfortunately, using that method, we can't. But
I love
might
that
be able
shit.
to use retrigger instead. I don't know. Or slide up. Ooh.
That's a bit of a square pusher thing, isn't it? Oh.
That's actual flange.
Yeah, that's time modulation.
Who knew you could do that in Matilda Tracker? Not me.
So, are you telling me that there are different types of tracker machines in Buzz?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah. Most of them are 99% the same. Yeah, but you can. This one has, I think it's got all the effects on this effect column is mapped to the ones in Fast Tracker, or at least in Fast Tracker. But it is getting a bit difficult to.
Do you have Fast Tracker on there, or what's the compatibility for really old trackers on your Windows machine?
DOSBox.
Oh, DOSBox.
DOSBox,
Yeah, right.
mate. DOSBox,
so,
mate.
what did you have to use to run Fast Tracker in DOS?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
wow.
a DOS piece of software.
Wow. I'd like to see that.
You have to get it from pue.net. Ooh.
From pui.net.
Pui.net, yeah. That is here. And there she blows.
How many kind of tracks can it do? Because
Quite a lot, actually. I think it was something like 64.
oh, really?
Don't quote me on that, though.
That's quite a lot.
I've already got it.
Hang on. So, what? How many tracks would have that on? And what? So, in context here, when this software was in its heyday, what are we talking? Mid-90s. Would a computer been able to handle that many tracks?
Yes.
What kind of?
486DX would be able to handle.
What would the RAM have been? 256 meg. 512 meg. 64 meg. A gig?
I think we were talking megabytes. Yeah, 1 or 2.
No.
Yeah, seriously.
Actually, thinking about it, the first laptop I got, that was 512 meg of RAM, and that was in 2003.
Yeah, something like that. So here's
Wow.
Fast Tracker, which, in all its glory, I'm going to.
Narrator dialog. No button. Alt and N. Do you want to turn on narrator?
What? Just what? What?
Narrator
Who's this
reads
guy?
text
He's
aloud
not
on the
invited.
screen. To start or exit narrator, press the Windows logo and enter keys on your keyboard or the volume up and start
pressed
buttons
the
on
wrong
your
button.
tablet.
The way he
Exiting
talks is
narrator.
really.
Mad. I don't know whether
Press the
actually,
Windows start key or.
Yeah. I'm almost perfectly convinced that I shouldn't have done what I've just done,
Oh,
because operating as
quality
mouse
content.
has become, oh god, exit, yes. No, yeah, Fast Tracker was, you could do pretty much.
But I'm guessing that all of the sample playback would have been internal to the program,
Yep.
because there was no. I don't even think VST
Not
was
even,
out then, was it?
Not even close.
So all of the. So were there even software synths? Probably not.
Nope.
It was just all.
Oh, there was software
playing
synths. There was
samples.
standalone. You had to make your sound in a software synth, save it as a WAV file, exit back into Fast Tracker, put it in there, sequence it, realise you've done it all wrong, back out, back into your WAV editor, do it again. So, in the days before Alt Tab, it was pretty arduous.
Yeah.
But then the alternatives were things like MIDI and horrifically expensive MIDI rigs, which in the old days were even more prone to going wrong than they are now.
Yeah, I've heard a few sort of stories in other podcasts I listen to, people talking about old MIDI gear and how it would just
Not
fail,
work. Yep.
fail quite
Just
badly.
not work. I think
I think I remember reading an orbital interview,
Yeah,
and they
very
used to use those Elysis hardware sequences that I see occasionally on my Facebook feed, people sharing them or whatever, and they looked horrible to use and were prone to failing.
Yeah.
But had really good clocks next to the Atari.
Oh
or
yeah,
something.
yeah. Well, even something like my favourite toy I've ever owned was the MC303 Groovebox. Wonderful little machine.
And the Yamaha DJX.
I loved that.
With that sound on it, which I realised years later was... So do you know Rocket by Herbie Hancock?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So that is wah. You know the
Oh,
sound I mean?
yeah.
Wah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know exactly which
Wah.
sound.
So that is another one of those classic meme sounds.
A while back, I found someone had recorded every sample of DJX and put it in a pack.
No
So
way.
you can get every sample. And some of them are really good.
That's cool.
There's a couple of like basses on there that are just so fucking awesome that...
I remember it had that vinyl crackle.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That was... I really liked that.
But very, very badly looped as well. So it was very, very obvious where the beginning of the loop was, because there was a pop that was not vinyl crackle. You could almost tell it wasn't vinyl crackle. It was just the sound of the DC offset resetting from, you know, beginning to end of the sample. That it used to bug me. But yeah, DJX, if you own one, you're cool.
They were kind of quite cool. I remember being young and not understanding music technology and thinking it was awesome. I'm just going to YouTube.
He's YouTubing.
DJX sounds. See what comes up. A demo of a rare and excellent. This is 18 minutes long. Oh, I won't play it all. Oh, hang on. This is an advert. So no adverts. No adverts. You cannot hear the advert. I'm not. Here we go.
Hi everyone, it's not very often I demo a keyboard, but this one's just so outstanding, and I'll just take you through some of the features. First of all,
this is so meta. This is if I get this on YouTube, I'm playing a YouTube video.
So I come around, can't quite see it there, but the gooseneck microphone's looping around.
I don't want to hear any more of his talking. Come on.
No, we want to hear him play.
Oh. That's not the vinyl crackle sound.
No, that's the arpeggio going mental. And then
maybe I could just have like some Yamaha DJX demo of features. 20. Oh, here we go. This one's only 4 minutes with a picture. Probably no talking.
And no content. I remember that one. Oh, I've used that one a lot. Yeah. I did go through a time when we were in...
Quite meaty kicks.
Yeah.
Even from my iPhone speaker.
Bongo.
Got a lot of reverb.
Yeah.
Did they all
had you set the reverb. It had a very good reverb.
Yeah?
Yeah.
No.
It had a lovely pre-delayed reverb that you could do some awesome dub.
I want to hear the wah. Do you reckon we'll get there after 4 minutes?
4 minutes, yeah. You might be here for the entire 4 minutes.
Let's go forward a little.
It's one of the loops. Oh.
Go.
Yeah, he's going through the loops now. Yeah. These are like the one you had a whole keyboard of one-shot samples. There was this section was just for drum loops. There was that. Yeah.
So a House of Pain type.
Grimy.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Orgasm. Can you hear it?
That's it. That's the vinyl crackle.
That's the one with the DC offset pop that bugged me.
That's quite cool. Oh.
Bit shit, that one.
Not keen on that one.
Bit gay club.
There's nothing wrong with that. Oh. Where's the wah?
Do you know what? Actually, it never occurred to me at the time when I did exactly the same thing as he's doing now when I first bought it, which was just to go through every single sound on the keyboard. It never occurred to me to put it on a YouTube video.
There's loads of them. There's loads.
Loads of them. Just every single noise.
There's a guy. Check out 12-Bit Jungle. There's a guy, and I don't know if he's still doing stuff, but I looked at his channel recently, and he's basically uploading iPhone videos of him, and it's all like old samplers, all like old Ataris and Amigas, doing like UK jungle, like real like 90s,
Yeah.
with like all coming out into like analog mixes and stuff, and they're all really short videos, like about a minute and a half or whatever. But I love it. You got to go and check that out.
Nothing.
I think it's called 12-bit jungle. It is proper good.
Nothing quite like a bit of proper 90s jungle.
With the sort of 2-line displays on all the gear and stuff. And
yeah. Proper.
It's nice. It's nice. I should imagine that would be like the equivalent of kind of like walking into like an antique shop and getting really excited about a nice footstool or something.
Or a chaise lounge.
Yeah, or a little coffee table or something like that. Anyway.
Have you ever tried to sit on a chaise lounge, by the way? Horrifically uncomfortable.
Isn't it basically a sofa without a back?
Yeah, there's back on one end.
They're just for posers, aren't they?
Yeah, pretty much.
Fuck that.
No, yeah. Well,
anyway, so where are we?
I thought you'd like that kind of thing.
What, posing?
Yeah.
Well, I like to do a few poses.
You with the little posing pouch.
I'm doing. Anyway, what are we doing now? What the hell are we doing?
I don't know. What's
happened to our video? Our podcast.
We started doing something and it's all gone.
Should we move into Renoise or?
That's probably a good idea because.
Should we have a look at Renoise? Which version do you have? I think I've got
the latest one.
I think I've got 2. Oh, you got the latest one? I was thinking of splashing out and. It's like 40 quid.
It's only the demo, so I don't really know. Also, I don't really know what I'm doing in here. So,
I think they've added some sort of pattern editor, which makes it a little bit more intuitive to. I think there's like kind of like a multi-lane pattern editor. So rather than in the version I've got, it's one pattern per the entire thing. You can have multiple patterns in a row.
A
little bit like Fruit Loops playlist.
You can sort of split out your drums.
So if you've got one pattern that has drums, and then you arrange
That's
patterns
nice.
like that.
That's nice.
I might be
in
wrong,
fact, I
know.
can see how that works now. I think because you've got these little buttons that go left and right, and then give one. Yeah. Anyway, I've started playing Silence. How do I get to the sampler? I guess
The sampler.
Well,
this is what each track is a sampler.
Yeah, I just.
So you go to in the top right-hand corner. There's like the sample pool.
Ooh.
Can you see that?
Oh,
and then you'd go into the browser and drag a sound in there, and then you'd go to your track, and then using the number pad, you would choose the sample that you want to use in the track, and then put the key commands in. Oh, just need to
cool! Because so you can actually use the
trousers.
samples from other people's stuff as well.
Can you?
Yeah. Which is good because. Oh, there you go.
Why is it so small? Oh.
Because. What do you mean? Why is it so small?
It looks really small. Oh, yeah.
It wasn't full screen. That'll do it.
Oh, pardon me. Excuse me. I'm coming up on my Bud Light. I mean, other beers are available. If you want to give me some money, Budweiser, I'd be very happy.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't.
I think they spent it all on that lizard.
They spent it all on that those talking frogs.
Oh, where was the frogs?
Yeah, 3 talking frogs and maybe a lizard or a gecko or something.
Oh, that's right. It was Budweiser. Yeah.
I've got to be honest. It did make me laugh the first time I saw that advert, and at the same time, I was a little bit pleased because the thing is about Bud Light is that once you've sort of like finished one, you're kind of sober again. So you drink another one, and then you're sober again. So you kind of just keep this nice, consistent level of being a bit pissed. Like you don't really get too overboard. Like if you drank 4 Stellas, then
I frequently do. Yes,
you'd be in prison.
Oh no, you don't end up in prison. You just end up normally unconscious. I might have accidentally did that last night.
What, whilst watching Sharp?
Whilst watching Sharp. I think I actually had 9.
We've been making our way through Game of Thrones. Have you watched that show?
Not yet, and for a good reason.
No, why's that?
They haven't finished it yet. So when they finish it, I will binge watch the entire series.
That's kind of what we're doing now, yeah, to catch up. And then
I will binge watch all of it in one go, without a break, which
that's going to take a long
require a whole week, 24 hours of game.
Well, each season is 10 episodes. That's an hour each, so that's 10 hours a season. So that's 70 hours.
I hadn't really worked out the details.
Divide that by 24, then you've got what? It's about 4 or 5 days.
Oh, Jesus.
Constant viewing.
I'm going to have to go on the dole again. That's what I did for Vikings. Very good show.
I've heard about that, yeah. Anyway, this isn't Breakcore.
It's not Breakcore. I to be honest, I don't know
television.
what the chances are of actually getting any Breakcore out of this are going to be. Mostly because...
Well, I'm going to try and explain it to you without looking at the screen, just from my limited knowledge of how to use the software. So first of all...
How do I make it edit?
How do you make it edit?
Yeah.
It needs to be... what you mean, record mode?
I just want to put notes in.
Yeah, so you need to put record mode on.
Oh, what?
So to do that...
Press the record mode?
Yeah. So now there's a red box around the outside. Red box.
I'm with you. Cheeky monkeys.
So now you can reference the sample in the sample pool and then put your key commands in. And you should hear a sound, I think. No?
Nope.
Quality content here.
It did come up with an error message when I tried to load the sample. Let's see if I can make it.
You've got the sample in the sample pool in the top right hand corner?
Yeah.
Yeah? What number is it on?
Windows Direct Audio. No decoder can handle the...
What? No decoder can handle what? The pressure.
An IF.
Oh.
You and your Macs. With
What?
Your,
you and your Windows tablet can't handle an AIF?
This isn't...
It's 2017. It should be the same on all computers by now. Can you play a FLAC?
Ah, I've just worked something out.
What have you worked out?
That I was probably loading the wrong sample.
Oh.
These have got underscores in front of them.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, these are... what, these are the ones I gave you?
Yeah.
What? Oh, I think maybe... I don't remember. Oh, I think I did put those underscores in. I've been trying to, like, name some of my files a little bit more appropriately, and so that when I import them into other programs, then certain elements of the file name get identified, like the BPM.
Yep. It's that whole meta tagging of samples would be brilliant if
meta tagging.
If it was just implemented well.
Well, there's a tiny possibility I might be doing a sample pack for someone. I won't say who it is yet, but I decided to do a little bit of research into the common file formatting so that I could make sure that I give them correctly named files. This is all very interesting.
There's a term for it in the programming world. It's called naming conventions.
That's the one.
Yes, and it's very, very important. Apparently. There you go, Gabba again. Now that's really quiet. I don't know why. Hey yo.
Does sound quite good, that break, even at low volume.
Yeah. Even at such a low volume. Oh, bloody record mode.
I'm pretty sure that the shortcut... I thought the shortcut was escape for record mode. No?
Yes.
It is?
Smart ass.
Yeah, I remember my Renoise shortcuts.
So, is 9 sample offset?
No, S is sample offset. So you need to go into an effect lane. So next to where the note is, there's a couple of little... Yeah. So now do S all the way down the track, and then go one cursor along, and then do your numbers.
This will not sound very good.
But you need to sync the sample. You need to sync it first. You need to go into the sample editor and then find sync. All right, I'm going to lean over. Okay, that's the sample editor. So
yes.
Yeah, so it's really small.
It's really small. It's on a very, very small.
Okay, so where are we? Sample editor. Okay, somewhere down here. There's a. Oh no! Wait a minute. Sample properties. Down here. One of these.
Bead sync.
Yeah, that one. Turn that on. Now. So that number there, that has to be the same as your tick value for it to sync to 1 bar of the sequence. Are you with me? So what's your tick?
8.
Yeah, we'll set that to 8.
I've just done that.
Alright, try set it to 64. 32 maybe.
You mean set it to your pattern length?
Oh, maybe I mean pattern length. Yeah, sorry. So what's the pattern length?
Well, purportedly it's 64.
Okay, set that to 6. No, that can't be right.
That's why I'm going back to 32 because it's I have also done something a bit mental with the patterns, so I might just go ahead and delete every other one.
What you want to do is get your pattern length to 64. Set the step edit to 8. No, 4 maybe. Yeah, but no, so what you've done is you've chosen random offsets. You need to choose some offsets that have some meaning. 0, 4, and try. Okay, so do 0.
I just like mashing the keyboard.
Yeah, but no, but it sounds too. It doesn't sound breakcore. So
Sorry.
do 0 all the way down. Sample offset of 0. All right, now play that. That's too many. That's too many triggers. You need to have one every 8th.
Sorry, Dad.
I got you on here because I thought you were the tracker expert, and now here I am telling you to do it every 8th note. Oh, what was that?
That was me going.
I thought it was an electrical. Okay, now go in there and do 0, 4, 0, 4, 0, 4. Like all the way down the sequence.
Can you set your jump on this?
My jump?
Yeah.
What's that? What do
How
you mean?
many lines it skips every time you press a key?
That's the step edit, isn't it?
Very likely called that. Yes. Where's that?
So that, all right, hang on a minute. That,
that's it down there.
the jump. So now if you, that's the one.
I know what I'm doing.
Okay, now try, you know, like 0, 4, 6, 9, 6, 4, 6, something like that. Try a combination of those. Oh, pardon me. Play that. That fucking rocks. Now we need to get in there with the down, the D command. D does like a pitch drop, like an envelope, I think. And then the number afterwards is the rate, the speed, yeah.
Volume, yeah, pitch slide. Also, how many effects lines can you have?
I think you can add them. You just hit the plus button and you can add more of them. So there's a plus button up here somewhere. There it is. Those two little plus and minus buttons.
Oh Jesus, they're really small.
So you can add like more and more and get like more elaborate effects commands per step.
What was your step effect number?
What did I say? D. D for down. But don't use it all the time. Just use it on a random one. You need a number after. Did you put a number after?
Yeah.
Try 1.
I put 10.
No, 10 won't do anything. 10's too high. Try 1. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Okay, that's fine.
Oh, that's clever. Or is it? Did I just put it in the wrong?
No, let's abandon the D command. Try I can't remember. I know R is retrigger. Quality content.
Quality content.
Oh, that was a little retrigger there, yeah. You look confused and slightly cross.
I don't think that was a retrigger. I think that made no difference at all.
No, it was a retrigger. Didn't you hear it? It went.
That's not where the effect is, though.
What is it?
I'm hiding behind the pop filter. Maybe if we do a bigger number.
No?
That was 4 beats after.
Oh,
Yeah.
I can't see what you're doing.
No, this is, yeah, it's difficult. I'm not familiar with this piece of software.
No,
Although
I'm
the
only
basic
slightly-
principles are the same, but it is massively unfamiliar. So, for instance, I don't know what this button does.
Which button's that? Don't just press a random button without consulting.
I think I've just deleted it.
What would... You just deleted a button.
I
Can't delete a
no,
button.
I've deleted everything.
Delete everything. What?
I've
Your
deleted...
computer?
No.
Did you put your computer in the trash?
Yeah. No. I've just got to do all those.
Forget it, man.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, we've been going now for roughly an hour and a half
And achieved nothing.
and achieved pretty much nothing.
That's pretty good going for me, to be honest.
Well, you know, I mean, we got some quality banter in.
That's about all. And that's actually a debatable...
Well, I won't know until I start seeing the comments. Like, if people leave a comment something along the lines of like, please never do this again,
Never, ever, ever do
then
this
I will
again.
either think that I failed or that I've succeeded and it just needs a bit of ironing out. But
Well, we've got an ironing board, so
there is an ironing board and an iron here. I think considering... let's look on the positives here. What have we actually achieved? We were able to not only use a computer that is nearly 10 miles away, but maybe film the desktop.
Yes, we are
And
still
move
recording.
samples from your computer here to the computer there.
Yeah.
It's not very Breakcore tracker, but still we've
Maybe
achieved.
not. Maybe not. But, I mean, with time and I think probably some marijuana, those loops will become more intricate and maybe better.
Would you consider marijuana a good stimulant for that kind of thing? Because when I used to use marijuana and make music, I just used to make 24-minute
24-minute epic drones.
Yeah.
Well, the thing
and then go to sleep.
The thing you had to do really was to do that and then spend a very long time dialing it back, bringing, you know, wall of noise was always a common problem with stoned music.
There is that, yeah.
So yeah, wall of noise was my favourite thing, and every time I listened to it when I was sober, it was just like, right, I think I need to take some of those reverbs away.
Yeah, I think I need to turn that compression down a little bit.
Yeah, or just get rid of it.
Yeah.
I suppose if you wanted to very old music, actually, I don't know how much of glitchy stuff happens in this. Probably not a lot.
This is one of your tracks.
This is one of my tracks. You can listen to me on buzztunes.org.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
I recognise it because I remember that it being quite finely... The envelope was quite good on this.
I tell you which drums did get done in Buzz. This is all vocoded, by the way, so the drum beat is actually the aim and break being vocoded by a TR-909.
All right.
So is the bass to create that noise. Anyway. Oh, that sounded good. Ooh, that sounds bassy. Sub-bass.
I recognise this tune, yeah, from a long time ago.
From the
Nice.
good old days. I might actually, yeah.
Maybe I could, so you can listen to that on the internet. Maybe I'll put if you send me a link, I'll put a link to that in the, I don't know, the show notes or the info description, whatever. People can go and listen to that.
Ooh, there we go. You can also, this was a remix of a song that you might recognise called the Bomb Funk MCs Freestyle It.
Oh, that was a tune.
Now, this has got
That
the
was a
most
quality
listens of everything I've done.
Straight from the top of my gnome.
Yeah, from your gnome. Yeah, your garden gnome. Anyway, just to demonstrate what the power of marijuana and buzz in terms of manipulating the aim and break. This was just the freestyle. It was ripped to a sound font through Recycle and then played through MIDI on Cakewalk. And then enter buzz. This was Buzz, Cakewalk, DJX, the MS2000, because this was done when we were in SP on Anders Road.
The MS2000.
And that's the MS2000 doing bass.
So how did you record that? Into your sound
into Cakewalk through, literally there was like 4 audio loopbacks installed and a load of line-ins or line-outs to my mixer, which then sent that to the PC in a single channel.
Right, so
I had to mix down a third of the track to record it onto Cakewalk to then mix down the rest of it, which is why it sounds a little bit rough.
But the timing's alright.
The timing's good.
Yeah.
That's good. But yeah, everything on the PC was sort of recorded individually. The drums are actually 2 different machines. So there's fast track, Buzz, and also so fast track is doing, Buzz is doing the glitchy aim and break, and then I think it was the Renoise Nano synth doing some of the main drums.
Oh right.
Yeah. And then Cool Edit to do the time stretcher.
Yeah. I like it.
It's very nice, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd forgotten about this track.
Yeah. I'd forgotten about it. And then I uploaded it. Yeah, quite nice. Quite nice mixed down. Just into it. Very loud and raves.
I've got some quite nice mastering plugs. We could run it through that and give it a little bit of run it through my. I've got some nice monitors in my room. Actually, probably not now. It's nearly 10 o'clock.
You might be being a bit ambitious playing drum at 10 o'clock. But would you care to listen to? I think this was probably Cows.
You mentioned Cows earlier.
Yeah, Cows. I think these were the sort of like last tracks I did, and you can tell already that it was done in Ableton.
Can you? How?
Just the sound, the ambient sound. It's all very, very signature Ableton presets. Not presets, but all of the compressors are just on presets.
Sounds like early Twin. You're pleased with that, are you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Sometimes I just get like a little bit irritated when people make obvious comparisons, and I think that's just because I think deep down we want people to say things like, oh wow, that sounds really original, but then what people end up doing is to help them kind of appreciate it a little bit more, they identify it with something that they're either familiar with. So every time someone listens to one of my tracks and says, oh, it sounds like this, in my mind I'm kind of thinking, oh, I'm so unoriginal. But maybe in their mind they're thinking, oh, this is kind of cool, it sounds like something I know, I like it, and maybe I'm just giving myself a hard time.
Yeah, it's like when someone says, oh, you look like...
Yeah, you remind me of my mate Dave.
Yeah, or you look like this famous celebrity. You're thinking, no, he looks like me.
You sound like Steve Coogan.
Yeah.
You sound like Stewie from Family Guy, Americans say on my YouTube all the time.
They'll be saying, you sound like an English Bill Gates to me.
Look at me, I'm on YouTube.
Yeah.
That's my Stewie Griffin.
That was terrible. Sorry, that's right. You do look a little bit like Seth. He looks a little bit like tiny little bit.
No, I don't know if I like him.
He's quite.
I think he's a talented voice actor, but every time he comes on the screen, I'm just like, oh, get off. I think it's just because I think maybe he just kind of enjoys what he does so much that it's bordering on smug when I watch him talk.
Very much so.
But
then
maybe
that's
he's
the
just
same
a really chilled out guy.
Ooh,
That wasn't on purpose.
no. SoundCloud seems to have struck it out for a second there.
How are you listening from? Yeah, SoundCloud.
Oh yeah, we've
So-
abandoned us.
You've got a SoundCloud account.
I have a free SoundCloud.
Ah, well then.
I think I've used
No, but I mean, you've
all
got
of them.
a profile.
Oh yeah, 2.
Oh,
I
well
think,
then.
oddly enough.
You'll have to send me some links and I'll put them in the show notes so that if people are still watching at this point they can, or listening,
If they haven't shot themselves,
they can go and check it out.
I was pretty sure I do have 2, but one's just DJ sets from Sick Note, which is
Oh yeah,
techno night in Brighton.
yeah. Those things still go, or
Yeah, it's still there. They had what's his face?
what's his
Played
face?
Lee Violet.
Oh really?
Yeah, a couple of months back.
Oh, he's a good DJ. He's good.
We went to see him live once, didn't we? And they played the DJ set. It was very interesting.
We did, me and you.
Sure, if you, I don't know whether you were there. I can't
I've seen him
remember.
quite a few times now. He's always been sort of, kind of, quite good. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, good man. I do like his Rhythmic album and also the other one.
I'll tell you what is good is that plug. You ever listen to that plug stuff? Like really, like very vintage sort of drum and bass, like from the late 90s.
Yeah.
Just very, very high quality. Like really well sampled, everything very well sampled. And very kind of in that sort of, LTJ Bookham, Goldie kind of mainstream jungle, but yeah, lots of library music and yeah, plug, go into that. Good stuff. Yeah.
When I get home.
Drum and bass for Papa, I think it was called.
Yeah. Wow.
Anyway, I think maybe it might be a good time now to wrap this fucking shit up.
Give up and go home.
So I want to thank you very much for coming in
And wasting
taking
your
part in-
time.
Who knows? Maybe this is going to be the first of many, or the last one.
Not the
do.
last one, probably. Yeah.
But
You'll probably get some better special guests.
I've got a couple of other people lined up,
Very good.
but there's no way I'm asking them to use their computer 10 miles away.
No.
Actually, it's done quite well.
It's a bit better than actually using the computer,
It's done quite well, yeah.
to be honest. So, I mean, there are a few issues. But, you know,
It's fine.
every experimental setup is glitches that you die in.
Indeed. I was kind of comforting you with the notion that maybe I would edit out bits that were,
Really shit.
really shit. But if you've watched my videos, you'll know that I tend to do everything in one take.
Right.
So I will probably stick to my guns and
That bit where you went to the toilet, I didn't say it. I think I might have
that's fine.
admitted
I mean,
that I was
it's a 2
scared,
hour,
and then
it's an hour and a half broadcast. So what's wrong with 3 minutes of silence?
No one's going to listen. No one's going to listen that far into it anyway, are they? So maybe
All right.
maybe edit out the political rant.
We'll see. I don't know. I'll listen back with video and see how I get on. But anyway, so a little message to the viewers, listeners now. If you've made it this far,
Well
fair
done.
play. And I hope that maybe if you like it, you'll leave some comments encouraging us to do another one, or just tell me if it's really bad, and I'll go back to doing 5-minute.
I will, Duncan. I will. Don't worry.
All right.
On that note,
What do I do now? So I just hit stop, or
I don't know. Wait. Might as well wait for the finish.
wait for the track to finish? Yeah.
I'm still quite a fan of very long endings.
Oh yeah, like I won't do a track. I won't put a track on the internet unless it's at least 7 minutes long. What's the point?
Yeah, what's that one?
People are binge watching, you know,
718.
American television. Why can't they take 7 minutes of music?
Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Take that, internet.
Okay, see you next time. Bye.